Hello, everyone. My name is Simone Romano. I'm a developer relations manager at IoTex. And it's great to be here, by the way. Thank you for having us. And today, I want to talk about what is DePIN, and I want to talk about this truly amazing new infrastructure that we have been working on in the last 1.5 years, which is called Webstream. And Webstream aims to revolutionize those blockchain applications that are based on real-world data, and specifically the DePIN space of applications. DePIN stands for Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Networks, and it's a space where machines in the real world utility that these machines generate, and the token economies converge together to bridge the Web3 with real-world economy. So let's take a closer look at what is a DePIN application. So every DePIN application, and there are already a lot, as you will discover later, is composed of 4 main aspects. There is usually a token economy where at least there is a token reward incentive for people in the real world to deploy some sort of infrastructure. And while people deploy infrastructure and they install machines, these machines start delivering some utility. And so stakeholders become interested into this utility, like developers or builders or normal users. And so they start using this utility. And while the network grows and more utility is available and users use it, the fees generated by utilizing this infrastructure also are used to fund the actual token economy incentives for people to actually keep sustaining and keep the infrastructure functioning. And so while this infrastructure grows in the real world, also the utility grows and the demand for the token to use this utility grows. And so the price rises, and so the value of the incentive of the whole token economy is also growing for more people to be interested into joining this infrastructure and keeping it running, and so on and so forth, into this spinning DeFi flywheel. So this slide just a very simple slide to just remember, right, how big the real-world economy is versus the current DeFi and the cryptocurrency or Web3 economy, and the fact that we should really find ways, more and more ways, to connect the Web3 to the real-world economy. Just being able to drive with Web3 a small part of this real-world economy would unlock $1 trillion market for the Web3. So in this slide, you see a collection of, I would say, popular DePIN applications. On the left side, you probably see some projects that are very familiar to you. And these ones were the initial projects that provided decentralized networks of digital services. For example, decentralized data storage, or decentralized computational power, or decentralized network services like DNS or other types of network services. On the right side, there are more, I would say, innovative and interesting types of decentralized networks, where they started decentralizing machines. For example, networks of sensors or networks of connectivity, right? Like LoRaWAN, like from Helium. Or even decentralized networks of energy storage or GPS location services. And in the middle there is a small area called infra, and that's where Webstream lives, because Webstream is an infrastructure that is designed to support the deployment of these types of applications. So apart from those applications that you have seen, actually we have witnessed the birth of so many small and medium-sized new DePIN applications in 2023, 2022, and we really believe that this real-world adoption, this community-owned infrastructure that are driven by blockchain are really going to lead the next Web3 wave, the next bull run. So let's again see how these DePIN projects work today, right? They always have a centralized infrastructure that basically is in charge for collecting the data from these infrastructure, from these machines, perform some logic, some processing, and then decide if the machine owner is supposed to receive a reward or not, and how much. And they just trigger the on-chain token economy. And usually there is just in most cases, there is just a token on the chain, and that's it. Of course, we are all familiar with the limitations of centralized infrastructures, right? There is no trust. Anybody can tune the code to maybe achieve more rewards. It can be hacked. There is no transparency if a hack happens. And of course, these are architectures designed for a specific application. So other DApps cannot join, right, on-chain and maybe provide more value to the ecosystem. And neither other data sources can easily connect to this server, to this infrastructure, and contribute their data. So one could might think, well, let's just decentralize this like Oracle or this service. That's not an easy thing to do because DePIN applications, like any IoT type of application, work on huge amounts of data. It's also very noisy data. They require processing. Today, you could think of AI most probably running on any IoT data, on any machine data. And so you have a lot of data, and you have processing requirements. And definitely, making this a blockchain is not an option. So how to solve the problem of decentralized verification for DePIN? One important aspect is to trust the actual device. We at IoTeX have been leading this research in the last 3 years, even by creating real-world adopted devices that prove our concept of how to use advanced hardware, it's called trusted execution environments, to make the actual device, the actual machine, trusted, so the source of the data trusted. And the data itself, any piece of data generated by these machines, can be trusted along the whole path from the device to the smart contract. But yet, while this is definitely desirable, it's still not a solution to how to decentralize these types of applications. Because as I said, you cannot just send this data, regardless if it's trusted or not, to a smart contract, because it's too much data, and it requires heavy processing. Another option for these types of networks has been explored by other projects, and it's based on it's a sample-based approach, where you have these verifiers that are nodes that basically somehow try to do measurements and based on samples to verify that machines are actually generating data according to the protocol that they are supposed to run. And yet this has many limitations because the network architecture becomes complex. You have this role of verifiers that you have to manage, you have to decentralize, and also how to make sure that the measurements or the requests made by these verifiers are totally undistinguishable from normal requests for this data or data verification, so that the actual machine cannot, fool the system. And these are not trivial problems. So we at IoTeX believe that these types of networks can benefit a lot of validity proofs, for example, ZK. And these types of systems can run the computation, even if it's complex, on top of the data and generate a compact validity proof, a compact ZK proof, that then can be dispatched to the blockchain to trigger a trusted logic that can be rewards or can be anything else. And these have a lot of advantages because the architecture is very simple of your system, and it's deterministic. It's not based on probabilistic samples. And it's scalable because you're just sending a compact proof that's trusted to your smart contract. You don't need to send all the data or as expected, the contract is doing complex processing, just verifying the proof. And if the proof is valid, it will trigger whatever on-chain token economy. But there is a huge problem, not huge, quite big limitation, that ZK proofs are hard to generate. Are slow to generate, specifically on general computation, general purpose computation. And we are working on our in-house innovation on speeding up the ZK proof generation in these types of applications. For example, working on the MSM multiplication operation in the ZK proof generation algorithm. So eventually, that's the story basically behind Webstream, the creation of Webstream. And now Webstream is this decentralized infrastructure that does computation on top of data, where any device can actually send data to this infrastructure. You can deploy your DePIN logic into this system, and it can basically generate the ZK proofs that you need to prove that your DePIN project is actually working fine, and then the ZK proof can trigger the rewards on the blockchain. And this type of infrastructure is actually trustworthy because the data can be trusted, the computation can be trusted thanks to the ZK proof. And of course, the rest of the economy of the logic is on the blockchain, so it's trusted. It's highly composable because anyone can send data to an open architecture. Any device can just decide to become compatible with a specific DePIN application. And any DApp can decide to use these ZK proofs to increase the value of the whole ecosystem by providing more decentralized services. Think of DeFi applications that could use these ZK proofs to, for example, allow you to prove that you own a piece of an infrastructure that's making you money. And then you can ask a loan based on that ZK proof and a DeFi application. And we also made it developer-friendly. Thanks to Webstream, it's now possible to bring these whole new types of applications to Ethereum and to all EVM and even non-EVM chains, because we are compatible with many popular chains, and we are adding more and more by the day. And as I said, it's also developer-friendly. We also released development tools that are visual to make deploying these types of applications very easy for DePIN builders. And we also have an Explorer being released soon, where you can see all the projects deployed, the status of devices, the data that they generated, and so on and so forth. And we have already released the DePIN scan, which is based on the data of the Webstream infrastructure to give everyone a good visibility of all the DePIN space. And if you go to depinscan.io, you get a list of all the DePIN applications in the space, regardless if they're using Webstream or not. Those that are using Webstream are also somehow trusted in terms of number of devices and their activity in the DePIN, of the DePIN project. And this is very important to investors to identify those projects that are actually growing. You also have a nice word map where you can see all these DePIN projects with all their devices, how they've been deployed until now in real time across the world. And of course, we are not alone here. We are really pleased to see all these DePIN projects coming to us and working with us. Some of them are big, some others are smaller, but all of them are working with us to push forward this DePIN space, and we believe the next wave of the Web3 in 2024 or 2025. And with that, I'm saying thank you to you for listening to me. If you are interested, you can go to our main website, which is iotex.io. We are also layer 1, Ethereum compatible. We are also leading the space of EVM. We have implemented account abstraction. We have a decentralized bridge, layer 2 bridge, and many other layer 1 tools for layer 1 interested people. If you are a developer, you are interested specifically into Webstream and DePIN, you can go to our developer portal, developers.iotex.io, or you can learn about the Webstream protocol on docs.webstream.com. And if you want to get started, just go to devnet.webstream.com, get your hands dirty, and see how it works. And yeah, that's all. If you have questions, I'm here. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the space and the day. Thank you.